Good day everyone, here we are to discuss about defensive driving. So when you drive defensively, you're always looking for trouble. Not that you want to cause any, but for you to defend yourself against potential hazard because it can put you at risk. First, let's define what is defensive driving. Basically, it is the practice of drivers will consciously reduce or avoid dangers associated with driving, such as collision or incident, and can even cause a lot of money and loss of lives. So, how can you defend yourself from all of this? Syempre, you must equip yourself with all the knowledge you need to reduce and eliminate those risks.
So basically, here in Rationale, it only states here that whenever we operate a motor vehicle, we put ourselves, our lives, and our health at risk. Sabi dito, risk exposures of drivers include health-related risks due to the inhalation of toxic gases and smoke. Kasi diba kapag nasa daan tayo or nasa kalsada, madalas ang nalalanghap natin hangin ay polluted air, which came from the vehicles that releases carbon emissions. So, saan ba nanggaling yung carbon emissions na yan? Unang-una, of course, it's from the burning of coals, fuels, and gases, which is very, very dangerous to our health. Isa pa sa risk na maaari natin kaharapin ay ang possibility of involvement with accidents, which is more difficult to totally prevent because of the multi-causes of accidents. Sabi dito, among all the identified causes of accidents, ang human errors at ang human factors attribute for more than 90% of all the causes of accidents. So, ang laking percentage, ang laking bagay na nadudulot kapag marami kang nagagawang mistakes as a driver pagka nagda-drive ka or nag-ooperate ng motor vehicle. So, mas maganda na mag-undergo ka ng defensive driving training in order to prevent or lessen the causes of accidents while you are in the road.
Here we have acronym defensive for us to easily remember and understand those tips about safe driving and to become a defensive driver. First, we have D. It is to decrease speed upon perceiving potential hazards. So, ano nga po ba ang mga potential hazard? Ito po yung mga road conditions, pedestrians, commuters, passengers, and yung mga kapwa mo motorists, and even the weather conditions at yung mga animals po. So, ang sinasabi lang naman po dito na we should not drive too fast. And kailangan natin i-decrease yung speed natin para maiwasan natin yung mga potential hazard, maiwasan natin yung mga danger na pwede pong mangyari sa atin. When we drive, it is important that we decrease our speed. Kasi halimbawa na lang, yung mga pedestrian na nasa sidewalk na bigla-bigla na lang tumatawid, if we drive too fast, then pwede natin sila mabangga. At saka yung mga bata na naglalaro sa gilid ng kalsada, mga bigla-bigla na lang nagtatakbuhan, pwede po natin sila mabangga. Lalo na yung mga bata na may mga laruang bola na gumugulong sa daan tapos hahabulin, pwede po natin sila mabangga if we drive too fast. And it is important na we decrease our speed, lalo na dun sa mga PUV na magbababa ng mga pasahero, tapos yung pasahero bigla na lang tatawid. Delikado po yung sa situation na ganun. At lalong-lalong delikado na yung mga vehicle at pedestrian na bigla-bigla na lang susulpot dun sa driving lane natin. Kaya it is important po na we decrease our speed para mas ma-reduce natin yung possibilities na magkaroon ng accident. Nang sa ganun ay alerto din po tayo. Next, we have E, which is to ensure your personal safety and safety of your passengers. Dito naman, hindi lang kapakanan ng sarili natin as a driver ang inisip natin, pati na rin yung kapakanan ng mga taong sakay natin. Kaya lagi dapat natin silang paalalahanan na mag-ingat sila sa pagsakay at pagbaba ng mga vehicle. At wag na wag po nating hayaan as a driver na may sumasabit sa mga vehicle natin. Lalo na yung sa jeep, yung pagpuno na yung mga marami ng pasaherong nakasakay, tapos may sasabit, bawal po yun. And common po yun sa mga bicycle, yung mga sumasabit dun sa mga umaandar na truck, bawal po yun. And dun sa mga province, and ewan ko lang po kung meron pa po nun, pero meron kasi yung mga nasa bubong ng jeep na may mga pasaherong nakasakay doon, tapos may mga dalang madadaming gamit. Huwag po natin hayaan na mangyari yung mga ganong situation kasi it can cause an accident. And kailangan natin paalalahanan yung mga passenger na bababa ng vehicle natin na huwag agad-agad tumatawid. Kasi pwede natin masagasaan sila if we drive too fast, tulad na sinabi ko kanina. At yung mga passengers na nakasakay sa atin na ilalabas yung mga parts of the body, huwag po natin hayaan na ilabas po nila ang katawan natin. Kasi may mga instances na pag nilabas mo yung ulo mo, tapos may biglang dumaan na sasakyan, di nawalan ka ng ulo, di ba? Kaya kailangan natin i-ensure yung kapakanan ng bawat isa when using a vehicle. Next, F, which is to fasten seatbelt. Alam naman po natin na maraming accident ang mangyari in failure of using seatbelt. Kaya mahalaga po na kahit ano pang distansya na pupuntahan mo, malapit man or malayo, we should always wear our seatbelt and we should always use this. And kung sa mga motor naman po, kahit naman po siguro walang seatbelt nun, kailangan pa rin po natin mag-ingat at magdahan-dahan. Nang sa ganun ay may iwasan natin yung mga possibilities na pwedeng mangyari. Next, we have E, which is to expect that other motorists and road users will commit mistakes. Dito kasi, we should just pretend like everyone else has no idea what they are doing. So, may mga errors kasing kinukomit yung mga drivers intentionally or unintentionally while driving, which is ito yung mga misbehavior of drivers. Iilan lang tong mga nakalistan to at marami pang iba. And common dito yung mga jailwalkers and beating the yellow and or red light. At yung mga gumagamit ng signal light. Yung nasa kaliwa yung signal light pero kakanan pala. So, nakakalito yun, especially sa mga kasabayan natin. Kaya dito, nire-ready lang natin yung sarili natin. We are just advanced thinker. Kasi what if ganito, what if ganyan, di ba? So, nire-ready lang natin yung sarili natin para ma-avoid natin or ma-reduce natin yung mga dangers na pwede mangyari. Next N, which is never beat the yellow and a red light. Dito naman po, okay lang po na i-beat natin ang yellow and a red light as long as we accelerate our speed as a pedestrian or as a driver. Kaso nga lang po, as a defensive driver, we should never beat any of these kasi may mga possibility na mag-cause ng accident or collision and iniiwasan po natin na mangyari yung ganung bagay. Next, we have S, which is start the day with prayer. Hindi man ito ang kauna-una nasa listahan ng defensive driving techniques, pero ito ang unang-una natin dapat gawin. We should pray for our guidance and protection because in God we trust. Next, we have I, increase speed if another motor vehicles in the risk of hitting the rear of your car. Dito naman kasi may mga drivers na nag-anticipate sa green light. Kumbaga nire-ready na nila yung vehicle nila kung marurot. Yung akala mo may racing pero wala naman. Mga nagmamadaling vehicle. So ikaw sa defensive drivers, hindi ka naman makikipag-unahan, makikipagsabayan or magmamadali. Kumbaga, you should increase your speed too para maiwasan mo yung mga angular prone to rear collision, especially yung mga galing sa angular direction. Second to the last, we have B, which is veer direction away from vehicle encroaching the lane. So, alam naman po natin na it's very risky to overtake. So, as a defensive driver, we must change direction away from that overtaking vehicle. And ang pinaka-recommendable is reduce our speed and give way to that overtaking vehicle until it gets back to his or her driving lane. Lastly, we have E, which is to establish a 2-second rule or 3-second rules for others. So, common po yung tailgating, which is the risky driving behaviors. Ito po yung kung saan halos magkakadikit na yung mga sasakyan. They use this as a preparation to overtake. And for our defense, we should use any landmark or fixed object like trees or buildings as a reference point. So, once na yung mga naunang vehicle, they reach the fixed object, then you can start counting like 2 to 3 seconds, like 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, until you reach that fixed object 2. So, doon natin malalaman na yung distance natin sa vehicle is safe. And with all of these, being a defensive drivers, we are able to avoid any dangers on roads by using safe driving practices where once we have identified any potential hazard, then we can decide what to do and act immediately on it.
And now let's move forward to the additional do's and don'ts. Number 1 is plan the trip and the route to be taken. Mahalaga na prepare tayo whenever we undergo or whenever we plan to have a long trip or long drive. Kasi it's better na alam natin yung pupuntahan natin, alam natin yung ruta, alam natin kung saan tayo mas mabilis na way, mas mabilis tayo dadaan, and yung hindi masyadong traffic congested yung lugar na yun. So, ngayon kasi parang madali na naman tayong makarating sa mga pupuntahan natin since meron tayong Waze, meron tayong Google Maps, ganyan. Pero, iba pa rin syempre kapag naaral mo na or naplano mo na ng maayos yung ruta mo bago ka umalis. Sabi din dito, sufficient sleep and rest is also vital, particularly before going up for long trips. Mahalaga na yung driver or tayo as a driver, sufficient yung sleep natin para hindi tayo paantok-antok, hindi tayo papungas-pungas habang nagdadrive. And if ever naman naantokin tayo ganyan, it's better for us to go as on the side of the road, tumigil muna tayo or tumabi muna tayo and umidlip para hindi tayo ma-involve sa accidents whenever we suddenly doze off while driving. Number 2 is learn to be farsighted. Sabi nga nila kapag nagda-drive tayo, dapat intact yung presence of mind natin. And hindi lang tayo nakatingin sa kung ano yung nasa malapit na harap natin, kundi yung tingin natin nasa malayo din. We frequently scan the area, tumitingin tayo sa mirrors natin, diba? In order for us to check kung ano bang ganap sa mga kasabayan natin, motor vehicles or cars. In that way, yung mga senses natin, alerto sila. In case na maaaring ma-involve tayo sa accidents or yung mga nasa katabi natin is may possibility na mag-crash sa atin, makakaiwas tayo or makakagawa tayo ng way in order to prevent that. Number 3 is frequent scanning the surrounding area. Learn to scan the rear, front, and the sides of the motor vehicle. Many times, some motorists, especially motor riders, take the appropriate evasive action. A driver should, from time to time, look at the side mirrors and rear view mirrors. Frequent moving of eyes may also help alert the driver, thus preventing dozing while driving. So kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, dapat palagi natin chine-check yung ating mirrors in order for us to know kung ano na bang nangyayari sa paligid natin. And in that way, yun nga, yung senses natin, alerto siya. And nakakatulong yun para i-prevent natin yung sarili natin to suddenly doze off. So, magigising tayo, di ba, kapag yung utak natin naka-focus and ma-avoid pa natin yung accidents. Pang-apat is take a rest or nap when drowsy. Resisting drowsiness is very dangerous because it affects one's reflexes and alertness. Look for a safe place to park the vehicle so as the drowsy driver may rest and sleep before continuing to drive. Sabi kanina, kung inaantok ka man nga, tumabi ka muna or gumilid ka muna. Kasi mahirap naman na kapag habang nagdadrive ka, makatulog ka. And that will possibly lead into accident. So, much better kapag ka nakakaramdam ka na ay parang hindi ko na kayang pigilan yung antok ko. Sige, gumilid ka muna sa tabi, magpahinga ka muna, matulog ka muna, and then once nagising ka, feel more recharged ka na, then you're free to go. Pwede ka na ulit mag-drive. Number 5 is always bring early warning devices. So, sa previous discussion natin, nalaman na natin yung importance ng pagkakaroon ng early warning device whenever we're on the road and we suddenly involve into accidents. So, sa pagkakaroon nito, we are going to have a timely and meaningful warning information to enable other drivers to prepare and act appropriately and give them sufficient time to reduce the possibility of harm and loss. So, ginagamit natin tong early warning device na to kapag nakatigil yung sasakyan natin whenever merong accidents na ganyan, and wina-warn niya yung mga kasunod na vehicles na ay, pag nakita nila to, maiisip nila na merong accident. So, magbabagal ako ng speed. Babagalan ko yung speed ko para hindi ako mag-crash or hindi naman ako ma-involve sa isa pang accident. So, in that way, mababawasan pa natin yung risk ng vehicular collisions. Number 6, do not insist the right of way. Accidents occur when a motor vehicle encroaches the right of way of another vehicle and when the driver who has the right of way insists his or her right. For example, mag-overtake ka, ganyan. Pero yung nasa harap mo, which is kung sino man yung may right of way, ayaw kanyang pagbigyan. Ngayon, kapag hindi kayo nagbigayan and nandun ka na, mag-overtake ka na and ayaw nasa harap mo, ang possibility na mangyayari is magkakaroon ng aksidente. So, most of the time, dapat i-respect natin yung right of way ng isa't isa sa daan since pare-parehas naman tayo na gusto lang din makarating sa gusto nating puntahan or sa destination natin, magbigayan tayo at wag na nating ipilit yung right of way kung hindi naman talaga tayo yung may right of way. I mean, wag natin ipilit na dadaan tayo or sisingit tayo kung alam naman natin na alanganin yung dadaanan natin. Number 7, do not take alcoholic beverages hours before operating a motor vehicle. Ito yung isa sa pinaka-common po ulit-ulit na nagiging dahilan ng accidents ay ang pagdi-drink or drunk while driving. Dapat kasi kapag nagda-drive tayo, hindi tayo nakainom or hindi tayo nakapag-intake ng kahit anumang alcoholic beverages. Kasi what if hilong-hilo na tayo, lasing na tayo, masakit na yung ulo natin, tapos yung paningin natin umiikot na ng ganyan. Ang hirap mag-drive. And ending, maaaring makabangga tayo, maaaring magkaroon tayo ng collision sa ibang mga motor vehicle, makabangga tayo ng tao, ng mga hayop, or anything na magkakos para ma-risk natin yung lives natin. So, kung magdadrive tayo, make sure na hindi tayo nakainom ng kahit anumang alcoholic beverages. Number 8 is misusing the horn. The horn is used to communicate with other road users, such as warning pedestrians that you are approaching, expressing gratitude to those who yielded the way, and telling a road user to pass ahead. Misuse of the horn may cause accident and it's also annoying. Some of the don'ts is using the horn are listed below. Number 1 is blowing the horn on pedestrians. Kapag nasa harap tayo ng pedestrian lanes, huwag tayong busina ng busina kasi sila yung may right of way doon. Sila yung may karapatan na dumaan, and tayo dapat kapag nasa may pedestrian lane, magbabagal na tayo ng speed natin and hayaan natin na makapag-pass through yung ating pedestrians. Pangalawa is lengthy blowing of horn when another motorist committed misbehavior in the road. Kasi diba nakakainis naman yung makakasabay mo sa daan, yung ang haba-haba niya bumusina, nakakairita talaga. And then yung pag-continuing ng pagbo-blow ng horn, yung busina siya ng busina, nakakainis, nakakairita, and ending, maaaring magkaroon ka pa ng kaaway sa road. Maaaring magkaroon pa kayo ng kaalitan. And kapag nangyayari yon, syempre, magiging cause pa kayo ng traffic congestion. So, it's better para iwasan natin yung mga ganong bagay, ay ayusin natin yung paggamit ng ating busina or ng ating horn. Number 9, switching the headlight in bright position to warn an overtaking vehicle coming from opposite direction. As defense, consider the following whenever wrong overtaking of oncoming motor vehicle happens. So kapag di ba, may mag-o-overtake, usually yung vehicle na mag-o-overtake, magfa-flash siya ng light or magsisignal siya dun sa nasa harapan niya. So, ngayon, ang sinasabi, dapat yung nasa opposite direction, wag niyang i-flash yung light niya ng sobrang lakas or sobrang liwanag. Kasi, yung mag-overtake na vehicle, masisilaw siya. And then, kapag nangyari yun, yung possibility is that yung mag-overtake na yun, itaas niya rin yung kanyang headlight. And if that happens, parehas na liwanag yung headlight nila, magkakaroon ng banggaan, magkakaroon ng vehicular collision. So, kapag may mag-overtake na ganyan yung nasa opposite direction, dapat hindi niya taasan yung kanyang headlight para hindi masilaw yung mga drivers natin. And, syempre, di ba kapag naman pinagbigyan ka naman na mag-overtake, yung overtaking vehicle, dapat mag-signal siya or magpasalamat siya doon sa nagbigay ng right of way. Number 10 is racing with pedestrian along crosswalks. Diba, like what I said kanina, kapag mag-a-approach tayo sa pedestrian lane, dapat yung speed natin mabagal lang kasi bibigyan natin ng way, bibigyan natin ng chance yung mga pedestrian natin to pass through that pedestrian lane. Kasi minsan kahit pa nagmamadali ka, hindi ka dapat mag-top speed kapag dadaan ka sa pedestrian lane tapos may mga tao kasi maaaring magkaroon ng banggaan, maaaring makaipit ka pa ng mga tumatawid. So, as much as possible, huwag tayo makapagkarerahan sa mga crosswalks or pedestrian lanes. Number 11 is using electronic gadgets while driving. Ito, dapat iwasan talaga natin yung paggamit ng cellphones habang nagda-drive tayo. Yung pagsagot ng tawag, pagte-text, ganyan. Kasi mali mo habang nagte-text ka, habang tumatawag ka, meron na pa palang approaching the vehicle or approaching na tao. And then, suddenly, magkakaroon ng accidents or ng collisions. So, much better kapag hindi ka gumagamit ng kung anumang gadgets habang nagda-drive ka para focus lang yung attention mo sa road natin and maiwasan natin na i-involve or ilagay yung sarili natin in risky positions.